Now let's take a look at another aspect of intimate relationships, friendship, where one is no longer the loneliest number. Friendships are primarily voluntary and mutually satisfying, for the most part. How does one go about creating one? Friendship definitely has its developmental stages. So how does one go about attaining a close friendship? Now, one main aspect in creating a close relationship or friendship is through self-disclosure, which is the revealing of personal information about oneself to another person. Now, in the beginning of a friendship, one might disclose some small aspects of themselves or just engage in some small talk. One would typically follow the norm of self-disclosure reciprocity, where you give a little information at first and reveal more intimate information in time as the other person does. But sometimes there can be something called too much information. What you don't want to do initially is express, well, too much personal information. That will scare some people off and just not be a beginning to a potential friendship. So for the previous scenario, I pretty much just described social penetration theory, which is a theory that describes the development of close relationships in terms of increasing self-disclosure. Now, in order for a friendship to thrive or develop, one must match the other. So when the level of self-disclosure is pretty much uneven, the relationship may tend to sink and drown. This theory, Altman and Taylor, is called depenetration, which is disengagement from an intimate relationship. Oil and vinegar, cats and dogs, Venus and Mars, all the terms used in describing the male and female interaction. Cross-sex friendships between a hetero-female and hetero-male differ in how they express intimacy. So in friendships, there are in fact some gender differences in how emotions are expressed. Women tend to show more physical and emotional expressiveness, and this is categorized as face-to-face. So on the other hand, not surprisingly, men generally spend more time working and playing, showing less physical or emotional expressiveness or disclosure. Let's speak on the more stereotypical macho man. I'll make the symbol bigger just to make you guys feel better. This is probably more accurate. There tends to be a brick wall that is put up, especially in Western culture, like American culture. And this is characterized as the side by side, where men typically stay on their side and keep their personal self-disclosure to a minimum. But overall, it doesn't necessarily mean that their friendships are less fulfilling. Now, in cross-sex friendships, there tend to be some confusion and sometimes complications between heterosexual male and females. Interestingly enough, research suggests that men feel more comfortable disclosing information and are more emotionally open, whereas women in general find it easier to disclose their thoughts and feelings to another female. Same-sex homosexuals don't experience this gender difference found in some cross-sex friendships. However, many have had sexual experiences with their closest friends, which brings me to our next topic. Another complication that can arise in friendships, friends with benefits. This topic made very popular by two Hollywood movies, well, one more popular than another. Friends with benefits deals with friends who engage in sexual activity without the commitment of a relationship. Now, once the barrier is broken, it's possible that the friendship might shift and depends on the individuals. Typically, for both men and women, friendship is the most important aspect. But again, this can be quite risky. You can lose a friendship because someone will typically want more than the next. Now, this activity is not rare in young adults. Surveys have estimated that half of American college students, that means you watching this video, have been in a friends with benefits situation at least once. But hey, no judgments here. So the quote goes, you can pick your friends, but you can't pick your family. You can pick your nose, and maybe you can pick your friend's nose. But that would be weird, and things can start to get a little bit iffy. So I say, treasure your friendships and don't cross that zone.